All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, June 6, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, not a lot to talk about today outside of GameStop, which I'll get onto in a minute. But, markets here basically sideways. I talked about this morning. We were looking for kind of like a consolidation day, and that's exactly what we're getting right now. Market should be mostly pinned between 53.50 and 53.60 until the end of the day. So again, overall, pretty much a consolidation day, and bears can't really catch a break here, right? So I mean, you got Nvidia finally down. At one point, it was down about 3%. It's down just under 2 right now. But you've got other sectors picking up, and we've talked about this multiple times here. Whenever big tech is down, it's like other things are picking up the slack. One of those being cloud software, up 0.5%, and we have closed above that panic bar. So cloud software having a decent day. We also had biotech, which was up earlier. This is a sector that's been catching up a little bit lately. It is down today, but I do like the catch up here. Another sector, healthcare, XLE, so energy holding up. And VNQ up 9 cents too. So again, we're kind of seeing that kind of rotation continue. And even the Dow here up 80 cents, which has been a laggard lately. That still, I'm thinking, works its way up into 392.50. But, it's been tough sledding here on the sell side as, every time we get, weakness in these big tech names, we just see strength elsewhere. And even in big tech, I mean, look at Netflix today. Flat to positive. It's not like down big time. Broadcom here, which is down more earlier, is bouncing back up. I believe Meta was having a good day, coming back in a little bit. So again, we're seeing like little pullbacks here, but not massive weakness, right? And in other areas, we are seeing signs of strength. So again, nothing wrong with the rotation here. I think, at risk of being, completely wrong here, but I think tomorrow, you look at what bonds are doing here. And I've had this kind of thesis anyway, but I think the market rallies tomorrow and finishes the week strong. But it's clear that the bond market is pricing in a weak jobs number tomorrow. I would be really surprised if that's not the case. That said, I don't think bonds rally too much. Taking a look at this trend line here, there's the ZB. That trend line has been a good level, and it's pulling back off of that right now. If we do push up, I think that marks a local high. It might even be an opportunity to fade bonds a little bit, just in the short term. Okay, I think disinflation, I think that narrative is going to start to come back here. But short term, it's clear to me that the bond market's priced in a weak jobs number. So that's kind of what I'm expecting right now. And, based on this consolidation here in the market, it looks like we're just setting up for a strong day tomorrow from what I can see. We've had a nice consolidation pattern. We've had a nice little pullback there late last week. We put in a pivot. We expected a pivot there, and we've held up today. And really just an inside day. Nothing really wrong with that. Volume on the anemic side, it's almost 330 right now, and we have only done 21.2 million shares on the spider. So very, very light volume here. And again, market, I'm waiting on that non-farm payroll number. We'll talk quick about GME here. I don't want to get too deep into it because I'll be accused of being a hedge fund shill or a somebody being paid by short sellers. And I mean, just to say, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance with this stock here. A lot of volume coming in. A lot of institutions making money on this too. And if you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. But in any case, GameStop up 40%. Big move here. Obviously, Keith Gill will be doing a live stream tomorrow at 12 o'clock, so that should be a lot of fun to watch. I think it'll probably squeeze up into that. Just be aware if you're holding this, trail your stop on the way up because there is now event volatility baked into the cake. So I don't know what he's going to say tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting. I hope he tells us how he came up with 180 million. That's going to be a fun thing to look at. Because 180 million, you guys think about this too. 180 million, right? First of all, as far as we know, he made 40 million on GameStop the first time around. Then you got to pay the IRS, right? So there's half of it. So that leaves you 20 million. Maybe he made some on this squeeze too, but you got to remember so if you put 180 million into something that expires, it's an option. It expires when he bought it in 3 weeks. So that's something that, let's say GameStop fell to 15, right? He loses all of that. So if you have 180 million to put in something, that means you have a lot higher net worth, right? You're not putting that much money into a speculative asset if you can't afford to lose that. That's why I find the whole thing very, very odd. Again, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it should be interesting nonetheless. Obviously, we also have AMC, getting the sympathy there, only up 13%. I do like trading this though, intraday as a sympathy play. It's not nearly, I'm gonna get rid of this fib for now. It's obviously not nearly as volatile, but it's a little more reactionary, and the moves are a little slower, which is good because you don't have to worry about blowout as much. But AMC obviously getting some sympathy there. But very interesting to see how this shakes out here. But just be careful. There's going to be an IV crush tomorrow after this event is over with. So if it's squeezing up and it just ends up being kind of smoke, you could see those call option premiums really take a nosedive. There's no point in doing TA on it outside of just saying, you got the cap fill and then you got the double top there at 65. My guess is they probably squeeze it through that. I did hear that there was 120. I think Cheddar Flow reported there was calls at 120. I wouldn't surprise me, but just be careful. Tomorrow afternoon, when there will be IV crush after that event. So be careful if you're long. Just trail your stop on the way up. That's what I would do anyway. But in any case, for the markets here tomorrow, SPX, again, we're hanging in there. Okay, they may target 54. We'll see. I think we finished the week strong. The only real red flag right now to this market would be, I would say if we close below yesterday's low, that would be definitely a weak sign going into the end of the week, because that would also be closing below the previous high there. But I don't really foresee that happening around, and I think the market's it's sniffing out that weak jobs number, which is something that I predicted might happen last week. So Q's here again down 56 cents. Nvidia down a little bit here. You see Microsoft flat. Google is green right now. We talked about Meta. I think Amazon up 1.5. So Amazon holding up. So it's not really, if we look at looking at the heat map, if I can pull it up, it's not terrible, right? So you have strength again in cloud. I mentioned healthcare, retail actually having a decent day here. You got Tesla up, Home Depot, and both alphabets there. AMD actually bucking the trend in the semis. So again, as long as rotation takes place, the market's all right. But anyway, Russell 2000, very interested to see where this closes the week. Again, I'm watching this weekly close. I want to see what that candle does. If we can have a positive, even just close, like, they don't even have to be green for the week, but close near like 206, that changes how this candle looks. And again, we're holding that weekly 20 MA. You'd have it inside 1, 2, 3 pullback, could set up a move next week. Remember, we have the Fed next week too. So be aware of that. Keep that in the back of your mind as we get close to the end of the week here. Dow here up 86 cents on the DIA. Again, still looking for 392, 392.50. SMH here down 1% on the day, but again, nothing terrible here. Nvidia's down. We talked about AMD a minute ago. That's higher here. It's not like they're down a ton. Big winner on the day, IGV. Again, I like how we closed above that panic bar, that Salesforce breakdown. And look at Salesforce trying to get back above this trend line. I don't know if it'll be able to do that right away. Might need to put in a higher low, but very good recovery for Salesforce, being at 210 and basically almost making it back to 250. So nice move there for Salesforce. Speaking of recovery, Lululemon here, very good pop off the lows. I know we had some members. I still have shares in this too, and I know some members had made some nice money playing it at the low there. But a lot of GEX at 350 for Friday, so I don't think it gets really through that. But good bounce off the lows, and not often you get a stock like this at this type of a discount here. And their numbers are pretty good. All right, anyway, Dow Transport's here, fractionally lower on the day. Again, down about 1/3%. Weekly close will tell us a lot more here, but the chart's firmed up a little bit more. So again, still hanging in there, and non-farm payroll obviously is the big mover for tomorrow. All right, interest rates, again, 2-year right down into this big level here. So again, if we spike down, I don't think there's going to be much downside. I think we'll probably start to retrace a little bit. As you can see, the same thing with the 5s. I talked about 4.2 on the 10. If we spike down to there, I might even be tempted to go long yield for a bounce. Okay, just for a bounce. But again, you're telling me this isn't the bond market's way of pricing in jobs. It's got to be. So I would expect, if the number comes in soft, we might get a spike down to 4.2, but then I think you start to reflex up. So buy the rumor, sell the news, essentially, is what I'm saying for bonds. The inverse for yield. XHB here down $1.30, nothing terrible. Still holding that little wedge area and inside of yesterday's candle. VNQ, again, this continues to be that inverse sector. It's almost like inverse to NVIDIA. Like when NVIDIA and tech are weak, this is strong and vice versa. And it's trying to firm up here. Again, I talked about this yesterday. If this can just, base here, I think it can go up into that trend line. So REITs, strong sector today. XLF was strong earlier, and then it came back. Okay, so it was up, and then it was down quite a bit into lunch, and now it's back to flat to positive. So XLF, another one of those sectors bucking the trend. Actually, you know what? I was going to say this earlier, but yeah, KRE is back and up 21 cents too. So that was weak. That was really weak earlier, and now it did come back. So add that to the stronger sector list that's seeing some rotation here, at least for today. So Finn's holding up. There's KBE, watch that trend line there by the end of the week, and then broker dealers here hanging in there as well. Nothing's changed. Oil, I did take a quick profit again, so I'm completely out of that, just so you guys know if you were following me. Again, I gave that level out for free because I'm just nice like that, but I still think you can get up to 76, 77. But, I was in it for 2.5 days and got a nice gain out of it, so in both active trader and in the swing service. So pretty good trade there for the oil. Easy money, just take it and run. It was just a bounce trade. Tomorrow, here's the thing too. If we get a weak jobs number, you could see oil kind of dip down again. The reason why it would be different than bonds, right, is because we've bounced already. Look at where we went from 72.50 to 76 basically. Whereas bonds, have not pulled back at all. I mean, they pulled back intraday today, but right back up, right? So that's where I say that oil, I would be a little bit more careful with trying to play for that bounce because you already got the bounce. So I still think it could maybe even zigzag its way up into the 77, 78 handle, but I don't really care, honestly, at this point. So quick bounce, good trade there, and move on to the next one. XLE, red to green day, so I like the gap down and then opening lower and then closing green. We'll give the upside bias to 92 for now. That's really it. I don't want to overcomplicate it. XOP, same thing, up 68 cents. Again, upside bias to maybe 149, 150. OIH is a little bit weaker because you're not bouncing as much. You're still below the high from Tuesday, unlike the other two. But if those bounce, this will bounce into the 310 and 315 area. CCJ holding up. URNM, green on the day. Weekly pattern is still the same. I feel like I say the same thing every day, but I know that if I stop covering them, people will get mad. So just so you know, nothing's changed on these. But, I mean, you can make a case here. We just back tested to that. Whoops. But, yeah, if something changes, I'll let you guys know, but nothing has. So, Nat Gas did exactly what I said it was going to do. Did I take advantage of it? Absolutely not. Because we had the engulfing candle the other day, and I said, well, I just cut my runner. I made money on each leg of that position. But you got an engulfing candle. So, and then what happened yesterday, I said, it would be just like Nat Gas for it to rip back up, and that's what it did. So, slight new high. I don't know. I don't know. It's holding up all right. Like if you look at a 4 hour, it's trying to chop through. It's trying to get through this chop zone. It's holding up okay. I'd give it the upside bias to 3, and it's Nat Gas, so it might go to 320. You just never know with this thing. And by the way, if you look at the weekly, that's not a bad candlestick pattern. Your up move, 1-2 pullback. This could. It wouldn't shock me to see it go back up there. I'm just not willing to play it because it's kind of playing with fire at the stage of the game, like seasonally too. So, but good day for Nat Gas. It held up. Dollar index lower. Again, tomorrow's close will tell me a lot more. I don't really even care what it's doing today. Tomorrow will be more important. Gold trying to put in a little outside move here. Got to get above 24 though and hold it. Again, the gold will move tomorrow. But again, tomorrow's close will tell us a lot more. Is this ready to start pushing back up? Again, I would like to see a little more weekly consolidation, but you know, if it tries to break out, it tries to break out. Silver firming up a lot more, so this chart looks a lot better now. We talked about it was in a little trouble, you know, getting back below 30. You definitely don't want to close the week below 30, because you could make a case you've got, you know, kind of a failed breakout type look there. Again, I still think it's a little stretched on the weekly, but you know, we'll see what we get with non-farm payroll and see how it reacts there. But it's holding up right now. Miners here up 3.2, so good bounce there for miners. GDX up 3.5. Good, yeah, good look there for GDX too. Platinum here holding the 50 MA like we talked about. I'm not in love with it here, but I don't hate it either. Then palladium here, nothing doing so far. Still in that range. Copper getting a bounce, not a great bounce so far. I'm thinking this is probably going to put in a lower high. But doesn't have to be right here. It could be a little bit higher. You guys know I like 425 a lot better on this, for a much better opportunity. It doesn't mean it can't continue to bid off of 460 though. Bitcoin actually pulling back a little bit. So this thing keeps getting close to breaking out, and it just keeps coming back in. So even if we look at like an hourly, it's like it keeps getting up here, comes back, gets up there, comes back, gets up there, comes back. But now you're starting to make higher highs, and you're just hammering on the door here. So this thing looks ready to go to me. It just maybe needs a catalyst, maybe non-farm payroll. Maybe they just shoot it in over the weekend. We'll see. But I mean, it's basically like, you know, it's like a, what's that, like that meme with like the Cheez-It in the door lock? Like there's not really, there's not really like much stopping this. What's $3,000 here for Bitcoin at this point, right? It's not a big move to get to all-time highs and fill out that inverse head and shoulder target. But still holding up fine, no issues. All right, here, so markets here backing off a little bit towards the end of the day, not much. Again, we should close around 53.50 or so unless something changes in the last 10 minutes, which can happen. But it's not of much consequence. Again, market is waiting on that non-farm payroll number, and that's really all you need to know at the current time. I'm still bullish here until proven otherwise, which I don't think is going to happen. You can always get backing and filling, as we know. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.